Ryan Schultz here with the E39 Source, and today we've got a real dumb DIY. I can't find anything else about this online. It's been a little problem with my car now for a decade, and it's going to be time to take care of that today. So I'll show you what's broken. Yes, it's totally worthless and inconsequential, but sometimes you just want things to be right, even if it doesn't make much of a difference. I was reminded a couple of weeks ago when I did the fire extinguisher installation here on the driver's seat that this little cover down there below the fire extinguisher that's supposed to cover the electrical connector for the seat is missing its door. There's supposed to be a little flip-up door here. This is what's left of it here that I'm rubbing with my finger is a bit of a plastic hinge, and the door is supposed to flip up and then clip on and just protect and cover that connector. So of course the part itself is way overly complicated. This is the whole part in question for the driver's seat. What's interesting is there's one part number on real OEM for this. It's 52108157401, but it's listed as a set of covers or sets of brackets. So I expected that this would come with not only a driver's side but a passenger side as well. And that does not seem to be the case. Upon closer inspection, this bracket is indeed used on both sides, both the driver and passenger seat. This is the door here that clips up and pops into place, and then the electrical connector would be here, so we can kind of get an idea of how mine broke right there at that hinge. And then this goes all the way to the back of the seat. There's a bolt or a nut back here, another bolt or a nut here. This hook thing just clips over the seat rail. And then we've got the electrical connector that slides on there, and shockingly this thing actually comes with some hardware. This is a genuine BMW part, and this was stuck on there. So they give us a washer, a nut, and a little clip that will facilitate a wiring harness installation. So the unfortunate part of this installation is that front seat removal is all but required to replace this thing. If you want to spend a couple hours on your knees with a flashlight working in the dark, more power to you. You could probably do it, but these seats are not difficult at all to take out. And to be honest with you, the reason I'm making this video is because I've never done a front seat removal DIY before. In fact, I had never removed an E39 front seat until I started dismantling cars in here. And the 4 cars that I have dismantled, obviously I had to fully remove all of the seats. So that's going to be the majority of this video, is talking about how to take the seat out. Of course we'll have a clip on how to change that trim, but if anybody does that, I'll be shocked. To remove the seat, we firstly want to get everything detached at a mechanical level before we disconnect the battery. Before we unplug the seat electrically, we will be disconnecting the vehicle battery so we don't trigger a airbag light on the dashboard. If you do that, you're going to have to reset the light. It probably won't go away by itself. So there's 4 bolts holding the seat into the chassis. They are Torx 50 T50 bolts. Then there is a kind of a metal clip that maybe some of you don't know, but as you move the seat in an E39 forwards and backwards, it actually raises and lowers the seat belt here on the B pillar. So there's a cable attached to the seat that's responsible for raising and lowering that we'll have to disconnect. Then we do need to disconnect a seat belt from the seat as well. That's another T50. And then the only thing left holding the seat in the car will be the electrical connector in the front that we looked at a few moments ago. Now with the seat out of the car, it's a great time to do a couple things. One, clean. And I did this a couple of weeks ago. I was actually, I took everything out and cleaned the carpet in there. I didn't find any goodies, but in some of the parts cars I found change, I found a lighter, pencils, all sorts of stuff down there. If you get lucky, maybe you'll find some $100 bills. Another thing you could do is pull back the carpeting and give the chassis an inspection for any corrosion, any critters in there. It's a good time to look at that, make sure everything's dry. And then definitely the biggest reason to remove the seat in an E39 would be seat twist repair. If you go to put your seat back like that or move it up and only one half goes, you need to take it out and do the seat twist repair. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Kenan's M5 does have a seat twist issue with the bottom cushion on the front driver's side, so eventually we'll do a video on that. Stay tuned for it. But this will detail seat removal. So now that I've blabbed for 5 minutes, let's figure out how to do that. Let's start with the front bolts. That means pushing the seat all the way back. We do not need to remove these plastic covers that clip on there. We can actually access the Torx 50 bolts without them. You'll get a little bit more room if you lower the seat all the way too. So put it down on the ground, move it all the way back, T50, T50. Front bolts come right out. Impact tools are your friend, but the torque's not too bad. At this point, we will move the seat all the way forwards, and this time all the way up. So you pull up on this switch here, and it will raise up off the ground. That'll give us room to remove the seat belt, the cable that is responsible for adjusting the seat belt, and the bolts, the Torx 50 bolts in the back. Now the rear bolts are hidden, of course, by the rear trim here. I'll get a light and I'll show you. Okay, we've got some light on the subject here. So these black plastic rails are pretty fragile in the way that the material right here and here is very thin. Same thing on the inside there. So you just want to make sure that you don't stress that too much. There's no physical hardware holding it in. It just clips on. I think you're best to use a flathead screwdriver and just start to pry it off the metal seat rails from over here. In fact, I might be able to do this just with my hands. We can see how that disconnected like that. Then it's going to lift up and off of that peg and just come off like this. It doesn't take too much effort. If you do have to buy another set of these, they're not too pricey, and I think they come with a whole set for the entire interior of the vehicle. With that off, we can see the exposed T50 right there. We'll do the same thing on the inside. Okay, with the last Torx 50 bolts removed, we'll see that the seat now is in fact quite loose. But before we can pull it out of the car, we have 3 more things attaching it. One of them being the seat belt over here, which is another Torx 50, and it's real easy to get in there. I'm using this impact gun, so we'll make sure that the Torx is situated in there, and spin it out, and there it is. So the seat belt can now carefully, so you don't scratch your trim, you just reach over here on the side and pull it back behind that plastic trim, up and out, and now the seat belt is fully disconnected from the car. Lastly, from a mechanical connection standpoint, we have this little clip, which is right here. This is what's responsible for moving the seat belt up and down as the seat is adjusted, and this clip's a little bit tricky to actuate just because it's in a very tough spot to see. But essentially we want to, on the outside of it, there's a little arm that needs to slide up. The whole thing pivots up like this, and then the pin actually slides out, and then the whole thing's disconnected from the seat. So what we did was slide it up, that released it, and then pull it out. And then don't worry, it kind of pulled over there. We kind of lost it, but we'll reconnect it when we reinstall the seat, and it's not a big deal at all. So now we want to make the seat ready to remove from the car, which means making it as small as possible, which will mean lowering it back down. This is why we've left the battery connected through all of this. We're going to lower the seat as low as it goes. At the same time, we're going to bring the backrest all the way up. And then I think we want to probably slide it back until the front of the seat is just hanging over the rail. For example, right there. That's going to be as small as the seat can be. We can also lower the headrest. If you had adjusted the headrest at all, make sure it's all the way down. That'll just make taking it out of the car a little bit easier. Lastly, we're going to disconnect the battery. So we move back to the trunk. We will open the trunk on the M5. Of course, the battery is in the center. The standard 5 series, it is over here behind this door. And then we simply need to disconnect the 10mm nut here and remove the negative cable from the battery. I have the seat out now so we can kind of see it a little bit easier. But to remove the electrical connector, if you have this little door, open it. Then you're going to take this black lever, put a screwdriver in between the black and the yellow, and force the black lever to the right. That will press the electrical connector out, and you can remove the connector. You then want to protect your door sill with some towels, some moving blankets, whatever, something thick, so if you do scrape the seat along this entry plate here, it will not damage it. I recommend having another person to help remove the seat, as it is quite heavy. First thing we did was just lift it up, move it all the way forwards, then you just kind of pivot it out, lift with your knees, not your back, and pull it out. I'll give a big thanks to Kenan for helping me. The door at its second position stays here. If you press that the rest of the way, you'll get a bunch of extra room, which is nice. Then I just put it on the service cart and wheeled it over here to the workbench, where we can now begin the actual replacement of the part that I'm working on today, which is this. We will find a 10mm nut right here. You'll need a very small, thin wrench to go ahead and loosen and remove that nut. then it goes over the seat rail there, and it's still tight. So there's another Torx or some connector back there, and I see now it looks like a Torx 20 back in the shadow. So we'll get a driver in there and remove that. Okay, that Torx screw bolt is entirely too long, but it is a T20. You will need a small quarter drive T20 and a ratchet, and you can only go about 10 degrees at a time, so give yourself 5 minutes to get that out. And now we can see that we'll need to transplant the electrical connector from this piece of trim to the other piece of trim. The wiring harness is simply clipped into the trim right here, and these are going to work with a flathead screwdriver. There's little prongs in there. I think they're yellow. We bend the right prong to the left prong to the right, and then push this connector off, and it will slide off of the trim, and then we'll be ready to put it on the new one. Okay, the cover is on. You want to tighten this Torx 20 down here, tight enough that it won't rattle, but loose enough that you can rotate it into place. Then we're going to put that little hole there over the nut that holds this motor to the seats, and then put that 10mm nut on. This thing just slid into place and clipped in just like the old one came out. We put the wire in the little wire holder. For installation, I'm going to close the door like that. And now we're ready to put the seat back in the car. And the seat goes back in just like it came out. You want to have somebody help to kind of swing the bottom end in first and then pivot the top end, making sure that you do clear your top of the roof line here. Just be careful with the steering wheel, put some towels down on the sill. It's just heavy and a little bit awkward. That's the worst part of it. From there, we firstly want to plug the seat in. Do that first, make sure it plugs in, slide the little black tab back over, make sure all of that's tight. Then we can go ahead and plug the battery back in the trunk. And then you'll have access to moving the seat forwards, backwards, up and down to replace your 4 Torx 50 bolts that hold the seat to the chassis. Those bolts need to be torqued to 33 foot-pounds. Ideally, they should be re-loctited as well, since they had Loctite on those threads. The seat belt bolt is also a Torx 50 and needs to go down to 23 foot-pounds, so make sure all of that's torqued. You can replace your black plastic seat rail trim covers on the rear and flip your door shut in the front, and that's about it. You do, of course, have the steel cable that's used to raise and lower the seat belt here in the B-pillar as well. You want to line that up and then slide the dowel from the right to the left. If you were on the passenger seat, from the left to the right as you sit in the back seat. Slide it back over and then hinge it back down so it locks into place. We've got a quick note here on seat belt reinstallation. This is the seat belt here. Firstly, make sure that it's straight on the outside. As the belt is across your lap, the whole belt should be flat across your lap without any kinks in it. And then as it reattaches here, notice how it's vertical. It's perpendicular to the floorboard in the car. And there's little pegs on each side here on the seat that it fits in between. So you don't want the bracket facing that way or this way. It goes on straight. And then that's a T50 that needs to be torqued down to 23 foot-pounds. On the seat belt itself, it just pushes right down here in between the seat and this black plastic trim. Now's a great time to check this black plastic trim. If yours is loose and is hanging away from the seat, and if you can push it and this whole thing moves, yours is broken and should be replaced. There's a Torx 30 or 25 screw right back behind the seat belt here that goes in from the top to the bottom to hold this trim on. I have a video on this channel years ago about replacing these. Mine were rattling and loose and they were all scuffed up, so I replaced them, and it's not terribly expensive and it's a lot nicer. So if you've got to do that, it'd be a little bit easier to do with the seat out if you're taking it out for some reason. But we're in and torqued to spec and vacuumed and all done, and now I have a nice little door that nobody will ever notice except me down there. It's the little things at a certain point. In fact, while I had the seat out, I replaced this trim on the other side of the seat. Ever since I've had this car, if I look down there, there was a chip, a nick, a dent right about here. I don't know how the hell that happened. Somebody dropped a phone or a socket or something heavy down there, kind of heavy, and it took a chunk out of it. I'll show you. That's the mark I'm talking about right there. So minor and stupid, but while I had the seat out, this was simply held in place with 2 Torx 30s or 40s and then 2 black plastic push rivets. Alrighty guys, that is it. That is it on this bizarre little DIY that nobody will follow, but I did want to talk about seat E39 front seat removal here, so we did do that. Stay tuned soon. We'll do another one. We're going to do Ken, as I mentioned. We're going to take that front seat out and figure out how to fix that seat twist. And believe it or not, 10 years of being around the E39, where all of my friends drive the E39, this is the only one that's ever had the seat twist issue. I don't know if it's the last one, but this is the only one I will have had to do. Additionally, I've never done an E39 window regulator. 10 years of driving this car, nearly 80,000 miles, and I have yet to do a regulator. They're all original, and I use those windows every day. Thanks for watching this one. I'll talk to you in the next E39 source video. Take care.